What's going on, boys and girls? Well, that was job done, I guess. 3 points, that's all that really mattered. I think it was a relatively good performance from Arsenal. It definitely wasn't great. It definitely wasn't perfect. I know online there's a lot of negativity, should we say, around the performance. I don't think it was as bad of a performance as some people are making it out to be. I think the problem we've got at the moment as Arsenal fans is because Man City are looking so good and are now really in and around us, and because we're not playing to the level that we were maybe playing earlier in the season, I think those contrasts are making they're just making us feel a little bit more aggrieved by the way we're playing. But I think at the end of the day, all that mattered today was to get back in front of Man City and get the win. Yes, you want to be playing better football. Yes, you want to be looking more clinical. But I don't think we were as bad as people want to make out today. I thought we started the game relatively well. I don't think we did anything particularly great. We definitely didn't start the way I said in my preview video that I wanted to see us play, which was to kind of get on the front foot, dominate, get an early goal, and really kind of, lay down our dominance within that first 15, 20 minutes. I don't think we did that. I think we controlled the game quite nicely. But in saying that, we definitely didn't create anything. I think before we got our penalty, I think you could say it was pretty even. I think the thing that frustrates me about the way Arsenal seem to play at the moment, and I've written notes today, and I wrote these notes as I watched the game, because I find sometimes, once the game's finished, particularly because I'm usually watching them in the middle of the night or first thing in the morning, it's hard to really memorize the key points from the game. So I've taken notes today, but what I noticed in that first 20-25 minutes is we just seem to be on this kind of back loop of play, whereby it just kind of works its way through the back four into Zubimendi, Rice, and then kind of, instead of going forward from there, it goes back to a Calafiori, back to Nketiah, back to Raya, out to Saliba, who then finds Zubimendi, who then finds Rice, and then Rice finds Calafiori, and we just seem to do this kind of rotation of passes through our kind of back five without really ever kind of doing anything. And you kind of sit there and go, well, Everton are happy for us to do that. We're not really creating any sort of alarm for the Everton 11 to be worried about. And they just are happy for us to pass it around like that. And then when we do look to go forward, ultimately, all that we end up really doing is getting the ball out to an Odegaard or a Rice, and they're trying to loop these kind of long balls through to Saka or Trossard on out wide, and really it's a 50-50 ball at best. And 9 times out of 10, it really doesn't come to anything. So, although I thought we started well and we were never really out of control, we didn't really do anything. And that's what disappoints me, is I just think we just lack... we just seem to lack, I don't know what it is, just a level of sharpness, a level of directness to the way we attack. It wasn't until the 44th minute where Saliba just punches a really direct ball through the Everton backline for Gyökeres to run onto. And it's the first time I've seen a pass like that, perfect kind of in-behind ball for Gyökeres to run onto, which is what he lives for. And I thought, Gyökeres' first touch was really good, but he just didn't get his shot away quick enough, and ultimately it got blocked. And I think that's where Gyökeres, he needs to do better. When he gets those moments, which come few and far between, he needs to get his shot away. I thought his movement was good. I thought his run was good. I thought his first touch was good. But from there, he just waited too long, and he needs to get that shot away. I thought the penalty was a penalty. I don't know what the Everton defender was thinking there. O'Brien. It was like he was playing volleyball or something. He just, he's a massive player, and I don't see for what any reason why he would think he needs his arms up in the air. It was a clear as day penalty. Why the referee needed to look at it 6-7 times, I don't know. and we get the penalty. And look, again, a lot of people online are talking about it was kind of a sympathy give to Gyökeres, the penalty. I don't see it like that. I mean, yes, I know Saka and Odegaard are probably our most common penalty takers, and they are good penalty takers, but it's not like they're absolute killers from the penalty spot. They've both missed important penalties in the past. And at the end of the day, Gyökeres is our number 9. He is our bagsman, and he has an unbelievable penalty record. And so I didn't see the issue with Gyökeres stepping up. And in fact, I'm glad that he stepped up and wanted to take the penalty. I think that's what you want to see from your striker. And ultimately, he absolutely laced it into the net. And, Pickford had absolutely no chance. So it was a well-taken penalty. We go 1-0 up. We go into half-time at 1-0. And again, I thought in the second half, Everton came out looking to press us a lot higher up the pitch. They definitely looked to be a bit more physical with us and a bit more aggressive in their press, which kind of caught us off guard a little bit. But in saying that, we had a couple of really good chances in the first kind of 15, 20 minutes of that second half. Timber cut it back for Saka, who, I think should have done better. I think he tried to get the shot off too quickly on his right foot, and it kind of got blocked sort of off the line. I think he had more time than he thought. He could have put that on his left foot and probably placed it better, or I think even Gyökeres was there just in the middle of the box, and all it would have taken was Saka to kind of pick his head up, pick Gyökeres out, and Gyökeres probably would have tapped that one in. I think in that second half, there was a bit of a wobbly period where it looked like we were going back to previous away performances where we're 1-0 up, we've got the lead, and we started to sit back a little bit, started to be a little bit sloppy in possession. Zubimendi, I thought, was quite poor overall today. He was giving the ball away a little bit too easily for my liking, and that sloppy play, those mistimed passes, all of a sudden you're inviting pressure back onto yourself, and you're giving the other team confidence when you're kind of constantly losing the ball and allowing them to kind of come back at you. So I thought that was a bit disappointing. There was a moment in the 60th minute, and this is where I feel like Gyökeres needs to do better. Everton attack, Rye gets the ball, he does a first-time kick out straight down the other end of the field to Gyökeres, and Gyökeres is in kind of a one-on-one with Mikalenko, the left back, and it was a 50-50 moment, and Gyökeres ultimately just got kind of pushed off the ball too easily in my liking, and it got me thinking that for such a big physical striker, he doesn't win a lot of 50-50 duels. Like, you'd think for someone of his size and strength, he would be a little bit better in the 50-50s, and I don't know if that's because he's paying too much attention to the defender and not the ball and what he needs to do with the ball. But I just think he needs to get a little bit better in those 50-50s, because I think he loses airily and on the ground. I think he just loses too many duels. In the 64th minute, there was a great bit of play from Odegaard to Rice, who drove forward, feeds it out to Trossard, and Trossard curls a beautiful looking shot, but it hits the post, and that was an unbelievable bit of play from Arsenal. And I think we had a couple of really nice moments of play today in this match, but that has to go in. Like, that has to be a goal. That goes in, you're 2-0 up, it's game over, and we're looking at this game very differently. I do think this game probably should have been a 2-3-0 win for Arsenal, but how many times have we said this about this Arsenal team over the last few seasons now, that we're just not clinical enough? Like, we just need to put those sort of chances away. That goal goes in and we're 2-0 up, and it's just such a different ending to that game. So that was a very poor miss from Trossard. In my opinion, he needs to keep that low on the ground and just slide it into the far right corner. After that, there was another good chance where Zubimendi hit the post. It started with a brilliant ball from Calafiori, who pinged it crossfield to Saka. Saka and Odegaard had a little play. Odegaard cuts it back for Zubimendi, who fires a low shot. It hits the post. I wouldn't say that should have been a goal. I just think that was a really good piece of play from Arsenal and a great effort from Zubimendi. Unlucky not to go in. I thought as the second half progressed, I thought Tarkovsky was proving to be a bit of a menace in the fact that he was getting the ball kind of in and around the halfway line and just kind of floating these big looping balls into Beto, who was causing our defence quite a bit of a headache in that second half. And it was just creating a little bit of chaos. And they were doing that on repeat a little bit because I think they could see that there was the chance of having a bit of success off a second ball or a loose ball. And so that was causing us a bit of problems. I've already touched on Zubimendi. If I go into individual performances, I thought Saliba was brilliant. I think what I'm liking about Saliba is in previous seasons when he hasn't had Gabriel next to him, there's been this kind of accusation that Saliba hasn't looked as good or as solid. And I think during this time with Gabby not being around, I think Saliba has stepped up and taken more control of that backline, and I thought he was excellent, particularly in the first kind of 60-65 minutes of today's game. I thought Raya was good. I thought Timber was, again, just a solid 8 out of 10 performance from him. I thought Nkapie played well. I've heard some rumours online, well, not rumours, but I've heard some people online say that Nkapie didn't look that great. I thought he looked pretty solid to me. Calafiori had a few loose passes, but again, overall was pretty solid. Zubimendi disappointed me. I think Zubimendi is a very good player. What I think we're missing from Zubi at the moment, which I think Thomas Partey did incredibly well, was Partey could take the ball from a Raya or a Saliba or a Gabriel, turn on a sixpence and just get that ball forward. I find with Zubi, when he's taking the ball from a Saliba or a Raya or a Gabriel, he's too slow with it. Like he doesn't turn and try and find that forward ball. Normally he's passing it to a Timber or he's passing it back to where it came from. And I think that slows down our attack. So I would like to see Zubimendi get better at that because I think that's something that Thomas Partey was really good at. Rice. Look, there's not much more I can say about Declan Rice. I think he is the absolute heartbeat of this team. I think this is the type of game where if we don't have Rice in this game, I don't think we win it. We probably draw it or maybe we lose it. I just think, although Rice didn't do anything spectacular today, he's just everywhere on that field and he's constantly shutting out potential danger, cutting off fires, intercepting balls. He's driving us forward. He's keeping the energy within this Arsenal team, and I just think he's an exceptional player, and I just think he's at the centre of everything that we do, and he's a big reason why we are so hard to ultimately break down, and that comes down to Rice, in my opinion. So a really good performance from him. Odegaard, I need more from you, Odegaard. I need more. I thought he had some good moments today, but he looks too weak to me. He looks frail and weak on the ball. He's too slow on the ball. You know, Odegaard of a couple of seasons ago, he'd get that ball out of his feet and he'd be finding that killer pass, or he'd be getting a shot off, or he'd be creating something. All Odegaard seems to do now is just collect the ball really deep, spin, turn, pass it sideways, hold on to it too long. I just need to see more from Odegaard from a creative standpoint. I don't think he looks dangerous at all. I thought Saka was our best attacking player by a mile, you know, always looking a threat as he always does. Again, not necessarily doing anything superb, but the most dangerous of our front three. I think he should have scored that chance that he had. I think he should have given himself more time, shown a little bit more composure, put it on his left foot and either scored or found Gyökeres in the middle. I thought Trossard was all right. Again, he needs to put that in the back of the net. That chance that he had, you know, that has to go in. So I think, you know, you have to kind of mark him down for that. But all in all, I think he was okay. Gyökeres, look, you know, he got the goal. Do I want more? Yes. Do we need to see more? Yes. Do I still think we're not playing to his strength? Yes, I don't think we are. But I think we have to understand what Gyökeres is. He's a player that needs to be on the end of stuff. He's the player who, if we create chances for him and we're putting the ball in the box and we're putting the ball at his feet, if he gets chances, you want to see him putting him in the back of the net, and I think that's what he does. At the moment, I don't think we're creating enough chances, and he's not the type of player who's going to get the ball on the 30-40 metre line and turn, dribble past a few players, create something out of nothing and score a wonder goal. I just don't think that's who Gyökeres is. So until we start feeding him the right type of balls, I don't think he's going to be a bagsman. I just don't see it. So I thought when Gabby Jesus came on, I think he looked all right. Did a few nice things. He holds on to the ball well, particularly in that last kind of 6 minutes of injury time. He did really well to kind of keep the ball down in Everton's far corner, and just release that pressure. Who else came on? Marino came on, didn't really do much. Am I missing someone? Martinelli came on again, didn't really do anything. I thought our bench was a big positive today. You know, if you look at that bench, we had Jesus, Martinelli, Madueke, Eze, Nwaneri, Lewis Skelly. It's a really strong looking bench, so it's good to see our bench and our players coming back and giving us the options to choose from. I was surprised to see Eze not come on at all, but you know, maybe we're saving him for the Palace game, which is in a couple of days. But look, at the end of the day, like I said, I think because City are looking so great at the moment, it's compounding our feelings towards how we're playing, because we're not playing great football, because we're not smashing teams 3-4-0, and City are. It makes you feel more kind of like, oh, just, you know, I'm not feeling good about things. But I think at the end of the day, it's 6 points from 6 points in our last 2 games. That was a difficult away fixture. I know Everton were missing some players today, but that was a nighttime game under the lights at Everton's new stadium that you could see they were pumped up for it. And so I think at the end of the day, a 1-0 win away from home, a clean sheet, there's positives to take from this game, and now it's about building from it. Are we playing well at the moment? No, we're not. Does that need to change? Yes. Do I think we can win the Premier League playing the way we are right now? No. But I don't think this is permanent. I think this is just a period of a lot of games coming thick and fast. I think there's been a lot of rotation within the squad, which doesn't help when it comes to kind of consistency and cohesion. Like if you look at City, they're pretty much playing the same 11 week in, week out. Arsenal aren't doing that through a mixture of injuries and rotation. So, look, it's not perfect, but we're top of the league, 2 points in front of City. I think at the end of the day, I used context a lot in my videos, but I think if you apply some context, I think you take this at the beginning of the season. If someone said to you could be 2 points in front at Christmas time, I think we'd all take it. So now it's just about building from here, like I said in my preview video. So, yeah. Good win, good result, not the best performance, but we move. Tricky game at home against Crystal Palace in the Cup on Tuesday. I'll do another video looking at that one in a day or two. But for now, enjoy the win, enjoy the rest of your weekend, and I'll see you on the next one. Bye.